Hello dear students, welcome back to EDUHUNT video lecture series. We have been discussing about angiosperm characters, its classification and differences between dicotyledons and monocotyledons. That we have finished. In this session, we are going to discuss about a life cycle of an angiosperm plant. If we start with a flower, flower is the sexual reproductive part. Sexual reproduction occurs in the plants through, especially in angiosperms, through flowers only. These are the flower producing, seed bearing, fruit bearing plants. We have already mentioned these points while discussing about the general features of angiosperms. And the sexual characters, sexual features, sexual organs of a plant are the flowers. Yes. And we have also mentioned that various types of flowers. The flowers may be bisexual and they may be unisexual. In case of unisexual, the flowers are female, male. These are the two unisexual flowers. Anyway, in the flower, we have 4 different organs. Calyx, the outermost circle, is occupied by calyx, sepals. In common, we say them as sepals. And the second whorl or the second circle is occupied by petals. Petals are the second the organs in the second whorl. Anyway, these 2 organs or these 2 parts, these 2 whorls of the flower are not directly participating or directly involved in the reproduction. They just meant for attracting and they just meant for pollination purpose. That is why protection and pollination. Calyx meant for protection while the flower is in bud condition, and the corolla is meant for attraction of pollinating agents or pollinators. And these are said to be non-essential organs of the flower because they are not directly involved in the sexual reproduction process or the fertilization process. Anyway, if you see this flower, this is the outermost part this is calyx, and the colorful organs, parts, sepals, These are sepals and the second whorl, petals. Petals. Petals are attractive. Most of the times, petals attract. They are meant for attraction. Attraction of what? Attracting the pollinators. And the third whorl or the third circle is the androecium. Third whorl is androecium. Androecium consists of stamens. This is the stamen. This is stamen. I'll draw the stamen clearly. This is stamen. And this stamen is the male reproductive organ. Anyway, this is the male reproductive organ and this consists of two parts. The filament, that is the stalk of the stamen. These are anthers, actual fertile parts of the androecium. Fertile parts of the androecium are the anthers, not the filaments. Though these are essential organs, the part exclusively meant for production of male gametes or production of pollen grains or the sex cells is anther. Anthers are the parts of androecium or parts of stamens which are exclusively meant for production of the sex cells, male sex cells. These are the male reproductive organs and they produce the male sex cells, the pollen grains or the male gametophytes. This is the anther. And this anther, you can see a butterfly-like structure. If we take the section of the transverse section of a mature anther. Roughly, the outline looks like this. Yes, like that. And in that anther, this is the outline of the anther, the section cutting of the anther. In that anther, there are sporogenous tissue. Sporogenous tissue. That is, sporogenous tissue is nothing but spore producing tissue. Spore producing tissue is the sporogenous tissue. Microsporogenous tissue, and this sporogenous tissue has the microspore mother cells. They have the microspore mother cells. These are the microspore mother cells present in the anther. The microspore mother cells, they undergo reduction division, that is meiosis. Microspore mother cells, where are the microspore mother cells? In the anthers. In the anthers here. In the anthers. And the microspore mother cells, where should I draw? All the structures I have explained till now are the diploid structures. Diploid structures are nothing but all the cells of these organs possess two sets of chromosomes. Two sets of chromosomes. until the male spore mother cell or the microspore mother cell production. And this microspore mother cell, it undergoes the reduction division. Reduction division means meiosis. Meiosis is reduction division. Reduction division leads to the formation of or the reduction of the chromosome number to half. It results in the formation of microspores. And each microspore mother cell undergoes how many divisions? One reduction division. And this produces 4 haploid microspores. 4 haploid microspores. Each is N. Because I am saying that it is haploid microspore. And now these are the microspores. You can see on the screen. These are the haploid microspores. What I am saying is each one is a haploid one, because in the anther I have drawn here the separately the structure, that is anther section, and this anther consists of the sac-like structure, the sporogenous tissue, and this sporogenous tissue develop into microspore mother cells, and these microspore mother cells undergo reduction division, and that leads to the formation of each microspore mother cell gives rise to 4 haploid microspores. These are the 4 haploid microspores. Each one is N. That is haploid. There are 4 microspores, and each microspore is now termed as pollen grain. Pollen grain is nothing but microspore. Then what is the difference between pollen grain and microspore? Microspore is a spore when it is attached in the tetrad. Tetrad means the 4 haploid microspores that are produced from the mother cell, they form a tetrad. As far as they are present in the tetrad, they are called microspores. Whenever they release from the tetrad, whenever they detach from each other, they individually, we call them as pollen grains. There is nothing difference between a pollen grain and a microspore generally. And this microspore or the pollen grain, now it is looking like a spherical structure, and now this pollen grain, the nucleus of the pollen grain undergoes division, and this division forms 2 cells. First one is the vegetative cell and second is the generative cell. It is not mentioned here. Say this is the microspore mother cell, MMC. Microspore mother cell, which is a diploid one, and now this undergoes a reductional division, and this forms four haploid, and each one is a haploid one, and 4 microspores. Four microspores, and now this microspore, when they detach from each other, now it is a pollen grain. Pollen grain, and this is the pollen grain. Enlarged view of a pollen grain is This is the pollen grain, and the outermost layer of the pollen grain, which is rough and ornamented. It shows ornamentation. That is, it is not smooth. It is rough. It is called the exine. Outermost layer of the pollen grain is called the exine, and the smooth inner layer is called the intine. It is smooth. And there are some thin areas where exine is not deposited, like this in this area. So these are called germ pores. Germ pore. And this is the nucleus. Now this nucleus undergoes two, that is mitotic division. Now after division, it has two cells, a vegetative cell and a generative cell. After first division. After second division, this generative cell, the nucleus undergoes one more division and produce two male gametes. Okay, male gametes. And this is about the gametophyte. Okay, male gametophyte. This is called male germ unit or male gametophyte, because it now having haploid structures. Or male gametophyte. Okay, these are microgametes. Microgametes are male gametes. These are sperm cells which are haploid in nature. Just now I have drawn. Yes, these are the male gametes. And now the pollen grain is said to be male gametophyte, and these, at this stage, the anther undergoes dehiscence. The wall of the anther breaks up through the pore or through the cleft or through the aperture formed at the anther. All the pollen grains disperse out from the anther. So this is called anther dehiscence and dispersal of the pollen grains. Pollen grains dispersal occurs whenever the anther gets maturity. Whenever it comes to maturity, the anther wall undergoes dehiscence, and the place of it is a specific place or space or location where the dehiscence of the anther occurs. So, ekkada padithe akkada anther anedi pagilipodu. There is a specific region where the anther shows dehiscence. That area is known as stomium. Stomium అనే ప్లేస్లోనే మాత్రమే యాంథర్ బ్రేక్ అవుతుంది. ఓకే, దిస్ ఈస్ అబౌట్ ద మేల్ gametophyte development. ఇప్పటి వరకు అర్థమైంది కదా. సో ఇంతవరకు ఫార్మేషన్ ఆఫ్ pollen grains and their dispersal చూసాం. నెక్స్ట్ క్లాస్లో మనం ఇంకా ఫీమేల్ గ్యామెటోఫైట్ డెవలప్మెంట్ చూద్దాం. ఓకే, ఇప్పటి వరకు మేల్ గ్యామెటోఫైట్ అంటే మేల్ రిప్రొడక్టివ్ ఆర్గాన్స్, ఎసెన్షియల్ ఆర్గాన్స్ ఆర్ 2. One is andrecium and second is gynoecium. We are discussing about the male reproductive part, that is andrecium. Andrecium consists of stamens and each stamen looks like this. It has 2 major parts. One is the anther, the tip, and the stalk-like structure, that is the filament. The filament is sterile part and the anther is the actual fertile region of the stamen. And this anther consists of sporogenous tissue, fertile tissue, and this sporogenous tissue develop the spore mother cell or the microspore mother cells. And these microspore mother cells undergo reduction division to produce 4 haploid microspores. Okay? Each microspore mother cell will give rise to 4 haploid microspores. If there are 100 microspore mother cells, how many pollen grains or how many microspores are resulted from 100 microspore mother cells? That is the question. If there are 100 microspore mother cells, how many microspores or how many pollen grains are formed from 100 microspore mother cells? Guess the answer, not guess. Just try to solve the answer. From each microspore mother cell, 4 haploid pollen grains or 4 haploid microspores will be resulted. From 100, that is 4 into 100 equal to 400. 400 microspores or 400 pollen grains are formed from 100 microspore mother cells. So, this is the answer. Anyway, each microspore is now called as pollen grain, and pollen grain consists of outer exine and inner intine. And this, the cell, the microspore, the nucleus of the pollen grain undergoes a division. The first division results in the formation of 2 unequal cells, vegetative cell and generative cell, and the generative cells once again undergo division to form 2 male gametes or microgametes or sperm cells. Okay, this is called the male germ unit or the male gametophyte or male germ unit. So this is the class. In the next class, we'll meet and discuss about the female gametophyte development. Goodbye.